Hey, welcome back, everybody. It's Sarcasm Speaks, Jared and Bob. We are coming at you on a Sunday night. It is Sunday night of the Players, which is the Players Championship. For anyone that doesn't know, doesn't follow golf, um, which if you don't, I'm surprised you still listen to this show because we talk about golf quite a bit. Um, but yeah, Rory McIlroy is tied for first with JJ Spaun. He's got a putt on the 18th green. If he hits it, it's a quite a lengthy putt. Um, if he hits it, he'll have the solo
He's a
lead.
mile away right now.
Yeah, oh yeah. And short and left.
That's not in.
Yeah. Okay. So we may have a
That
playoff
that one
here.
ain't good either.
Yeah. We may have a playoff. We may have some bonus golf here. But while we're on the topic of golf, um, we got to take a tip of the cap to the death pool. It's not quite an actual death, but Tiger Woods is basically dead. So he was trying to come back from his myriad of injuries, right? Like just pick one at this point. Um, Looked okay, right? He was playing in that indoor league. He always plays in the PNC championship with his son in December. He skipped the Genesis after they switched it to Tory because that's his event, right? And he was like, I'm not going to play it at Tory. He bailed on another event. He was supposed maybe the Arnold Palmer. I don't remember which one it was. He was supposed to be in another event and he bailed on that one. Um, and then last week came out and made an official statement that while he was trying to make his way back to the course professionally, he ruptured his Achilles in his good leg, by the way, not the one that got all mangled in the car accident. Um,
It's never the injured leg that gets hurt.
yeah, yeah. So he ruptured his Achilles in his good leg, which now he doesn't have a good leg. um, and this is it. He's done officially, right? Like there's up until this point, I was working under the assumption that we would see him 4 to 6 times per season, right? You see him at each of the four majors and maybe one or two other events here and there, right? Depending on how he was feeling. Um, he's 48. He'll be 49 this year, I think, right? In December. He was born in December. So he sort of kind of just turned 48, I guess, but um he'll be 49 by the end of this calendar year. He's done. This is it. We're not going to see Tiger Woods on a professional golf course again. I don't think. Right? I mean, outside of Augusta, he'll go to Augusta until he's fucking 60. He'll be Larry Mize, right? He'll be, Jose Maria Olazabal. He'll be one of those guys that just kind of fucking shows up and does what he's going to do and shoots 16 over and misses the cut through 2 days. Like that's what he is now. That's what he is. Um, any sort of mild competitiveness is gone. Again, in my opinion. Um, so it's sad, right? It's tough. Because if he didn't rupture his Achilles this year, I would have thought, maybe by this year or next year, he could at least, be somewhat competitive in these. And I'm not saying like, you know, fight to win, right? Except for Augusta. You never know with him at Augusta, right? He can play that place with his eyes closed and left-handed, right? And still beat anybody. Um, but I'm saying like, maybe sneak in a top 20 finish, right? Like maybe, go to the PGA championship and he finishes T22, right? Or, maybe even this year at Augusta, he might have been able to finish, T27, something like that. Maybe next year, after another year feeling good. Again, this is all assuming no ruptured Achilles. Maybe he finishes like T12 next year, right? Like, because he's just more and more removed from the initial injury, and everything that was going on there with his mangled leg. Um, and yeah, now he blew his Achilles. 48 years old. He's done officially. I'm calling it.
Yeah, I mean, I have nothing interesting to say about Tiger anymore. It's like I
Well, he
know
hasn't
Phil
been
won it.
good for a really long time.
He hasn't been healthy the whole time.
It's
That's the
true.
problem. Like he
Yeah,
hasn't been healthy. He
yeah,
can't like he physically like kind of can't do it.
yeah,
So until he proves otherwise, there's no point. Like I got nothing. Like I have no thoughts on the matter.
yeah,
It's like show me that you can do this. Like is he gonna try to play the Champions Tour when he's 50? Like what? I don't know.
yeah,
So again, I'll just like I'll sit here and I won't hold my breath. That's it. Like
yeah. I mean, it's sad, right? And it sucks for it really is. Um, you know, one of those situations where, the athlete literally just dies on his shield, right? Like Tiger, I know we talk about it all the time, but Tiger Woods was just so fucking good. It's like everyone shits their pants about Scotty Scheffler, right? And the year that Scotty Scheffler had last year, he won what, 8 times on tour last year. He,
something like that. Maybe nine with the Olympics.
yeah. And you back it up the year before, he won 4 times, I think.
No, I think that was 22. I think he only
Oh,
won twice in 23.
okay. So 22, he wins 4 times. 23, he only wins twice. And then 2024, he wins 8 times, right? Maybe nine again, if you count the Olympics. So over a 3-year stretch, right? Everyone's like, oh my God, Scotty Scheffler, Scotty Scheffler. Oh my God. He doesn't look that good this year, right? Again, this is by Scotty standards. And again, what Scotty has done over the last 3 years, that was Tiger Woods for a decade. For a decade. From 1999 to 2009, he was crushing everything and everyone. Like, so again, it's sad, right? To see someone that was that good for that long literally changed the game. He changed the game. They Augusta National, right? To bring that up again, they changed the layout on the course because of Tiger Woods, right? They added trees, they took away trees, they lengthened holes, they did all this stuff because of Tiger Woods.
Branch that drops down, they
Yeah,
can
yeah. The
retract
branch
it.
on the 12th hole. Yeah. The droppable branch, right? Like, and now he's just bad. He's just bad. But he's old, right? He's old and he's injured. But it's just one of those like just hang it up, man. Just be done. Just be done. It's okay, right? Like you're 50. You can be done. So, I mean, that being said, does that make the 2019 Masters even more special? Right? Knowing that like everything that was going on, because he wasn't like super healthy even in 2019. I know it was before his car accident, obviously, but like he had had a ton of surgeries and back fusions and blown ACLs and all that shit. And like 2019 was kind of like his quote unquote comeback, right? Like that was probably what his third comeback in 2019. Because his first comeback, you could say, was after the personal stuff, right? In '09, because he kind of disappeared for a little while. Um, and then his second comeback was what, 2014 or 15? Didn't When did he get his back fused?
I want to say he missed all of 14. He couldn't chip in 15. I don't know. He might have come back in. I don't know, dude. Like 14, 15, 16, 17 was a disaster.
Yeah,
2018, he was good in 2018.
he was. And then obviously he wins the Masters in 2019, right? And it's one of those
I
things
think he
where,
won he won again in 2019.
yeah, did he win the Zozo or
I
some? He
think so.
won. Yeah, he won a goofy
In the
event.
fall.
Yeah, so he won twice in 2019. Um, you know, obviously it was cool, right? And it was special. And anytime Tiger wins, especially a major, and even more so at Augusta, it's really cool. And obviously, I'll remember that. But at the time, obviously, we thought it was cool. But now, in hindsight, it's kind of like even more cool, right? Just knowing that he was never going to be Tiger ever again, right? Because what, 10 months after he won at Augusta, he fucking almost had his leg amputated.
Was that when it was? Was it
Yeah,
2020?
I think it was the Genesis the
It was
following
definitely the
year.
Genesis. I didn't know if I didn't know it was 2020.
I thought it was 2020.
Thought might have been more recent than that, but I don't know. I don't even know what time is anymore.
Yeah, I've said me neither.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, even 2019, like I don't have much to add here. This is the thing. It's like everyone's like, oh, Tiger. I'm like, dude, the dude hasn't even been playing,
Right,
and when he does, he can't get through 4 rounds, whether he misses the cut or WDs. It's like I haven't thought about Tiger in years as being like a viable actual golfer.
right.
So again, that's why like I don't really have much to add because I haven't recognized him as a legitimate like competitor since he broke his leg.
Right.
And then even in 2019, I mean, that was kind of crazy. But again, at the time, he was playing so fucking good.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just curious how he ruptured his Achilles. Like, how the fuck did he just do that? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. Right? Like, how do you
Although
just
Bernhard Langer, like, well, so this is the thing is like Tiger's kind of made of glass now.
yeah, yeah.
I don't know if it was always like that. I don't know, but he's been made of glass since probably 2014. Um, and I think and that's the problem is he just cannot stop getting out off the surgical table.
I know.
Because the thing is like Phil was like never hurt ever.
True.
So it's like
Yeah.
he had all these reps. So when Phil wins at 51, someone will probably say, well, what? Well, if Phil won at 51, Tiger could do it. It's like I don't think the dude can get healthy enough.
Yeah. He would literally have to not play for the next 2 years and then come back. Because the other thing too is these guys talk about it all the time. And I mean, we know it on a small scale, right? Because obviously we're not fucking professionals. But, in the wintertime here, when you take 6 months off, even though I know you swing more, right? Like you actually swing in the winter, when you get back on the golf course, it's different, right? And when you're not playing consistently, like it's things change and the game is just different. So like for someone like Tiger, again, who can't stay healthy, it's not just, playing 4 times a year because only playing competitively 4 times a year, you're not going to do shit. Right. So,
No, not unless you catch lightning in a bottle.
right, right. And that's the Phil argument, right? So like, oh, Phil was able to win at 51. Yeah, Phil was playing every single weekend. He's playing every
And he
weekend.
was also winning on the uh Champions Tour too.
Right, right. So. you can't not play competitive golf and then just think you're going to show up and like everything's going to be hunky dory, right?
Playoff time.
Yeah, I just saw bonus golf. Um, all right, so while we're on sports here, I got another sports update here. To talk back on the good old Bruins. So we talked about in our uh Tampa Bay recap show. Obviously, everything that happened, we fly in Friday, they fire sale the team, then they go out and stick it to Tampa on Saturday, win 4-0, right? So what did I say? I go, oh, well, they're playing Florida on Tuesday. Bet the mortgage on Florida, right? So what do? I take Florida money line, Florida puck line, the over in the game total, and the over in the Panthers team total, right? What
I
was
think you
that?
had an
Five?
alternate too.
Yeah, could have been, right? What is that? Five or six different bets. Yeah, I lost every single one of them. Bruins won that game 3-2. They beat the best team in the NHL 3-2. So I go, fuck this team. At that point, I go, they can't even suck, right? Because we talked about how they have the potential, right? Now that the team is gutted, that if they lose enough the rest of the way, they could potentially end up with the top five draft pick, right? Which, again, you can make the argument, and I'll certainly listen, right? That it doesn't mean anything because this year's draft isn't good. Next year's draft is better. Okay, fine. Who cares, right? You don't want Sweeney to make that draft pick anyway. Okay, who cares? I get it. Yes, I don't necessarily disagree. But are you telling me right now that the only thing we have control over is that there will be a 2025 first round draft pick by the Bruins? Would you rather have that pick be 14 or 5 in a vacuum, right? You want that to be 5. You don't want it to be 13, 12, right? So again, I'll listen to the arguments about Sweeney and about next year, and yeah, I get it. You if they have the potential to have a top five draft pick this year, that's what you want. This team has no talent anymore. Outside of David Pastrnak, they have no one that knows how to score a goal. So they stick it to Tampa 4-0. They beat Florida 3-2. And I go, I'm done with this team. I go, they can't even suck correctly. I'm done. I'm over it. I don't care. Well, that was Tuesday. Their following game was Thursday against the Ottawa Senators. And wouldn't you know, Ottawa wins that game 6-3. And I go, yeah, well, obviously. I think Jones was texting us because it wasn't a national game, so I couldn't watch it anyway. But Jones was texting us that it was 4-0 in the first period.
It was ugly. I
Yeah,
didn't watch it, but followed it on Twitter.
six
Wasn't
to
great.
three. They lost 4-0 in the first, final 6-3. Okay, all right, where was that the other day? And I go, well, obviously it's because I didn't bet on them, right? I bet everything
Correct.
on Florida, and Florida loses 3-2, right? To the lowly Bruins, the best team in the NHL loses. So then what happens? Yesterday, they play Tampa again, right? But this time they're in Boston playing against Tampa. What happens yesterday? Tampa wins 6-2. Think I bet on the game? No, of course not. I'm done with this team, right? I want nothing to do with the Bruins this year anymore. Sick. So the game we go to where we're like, oh, they're going to get, you know, they're going to lose 6-2, right? Like if they even scored two goals, right? We were like, we don't even know who on this team could score a goal. They win 4-0. Then they beat Florida 3-2. And they finally lose 6-3 and 6-2. And I think they have a game tomorrow. Yeah, they're playing Buffalo tomorrow, which Buffalo sucks. So they'll probably win that game.
Tage Thompson hat trick.
And then they have Vegas, San Jose, LA. They have a West Coast swing coming up, probably to end, the last one of the season, obviously. Um, but they go at Vegas, at San Jose, at LA, then Anaheim, Detroit. Wow, they're away for one, two, three, four, five straight games. They're on the road. And then they come home against Washington. And they go back to Montreal. Not that Montreal is very far. That's a quick flight. Yeah, then they wrap up Montreal, Carolina, Buffalo, New Jersey. So, yeah, this team sucks. And I can't bet on them, right? And I refuse at this point because if I bet on them to win, right? Like if I bet on them to beat Buffalo, they're actually favorites. Um, it's minus 125 to plus 105 in Boston's favor. Like if I just bet Boston money line, they'd lose. They'd probably lose 1-0 right to Buffalo. So then if I bet on Vegas in Vegas, they'll beat Vegas. So I'm just not going to bet on. The Bruins are my Tennessee Titans this year. I'm done. I'm scratching them off my list. So
I've seen this done. We did say that at work. It's like Ottawa's probably the game where they run out of steam and suck.
yeah. Well, I mean, you can say that every game, right? We said that after Tampa. We were like, oh, we got it. You got to take Florida on Tuesday. So I did.
Yeah, but it's funny because it's like obviously in the heat of the moment, it's like, fuck them, fuck this, fuck whatever. But it's like everyone knows Florida's good, so they're probably going to be up for that game. No, they might not win. They did, but it's like they'll probably still be running on enough fumes. And then it's like Ottawa's not very good. I mean, they might be a playoff team. I don't really know,
Yeah, I think
but it's like
they're
that's
borderline.
that's the one they fall asleep on. No, it's easy to say that now.
Yeah, of course.
And I didn't bet anything any which way. So again, it's also easy to make that evaluation when you didn't have anything.
Right. Right. So that's
Although
sports.
lacrosse bets went 2-1 yesterday.
Yeah, let's go. Was it Cornell
Cornell money line, they won.
and what was the other one that won?
Navy
Navy.
covered.
Yep.
Navy covered.
Were they
And
minus 7.5? Is that what that was?
no, Navy was getting 5
Okay.
and lost by 3.
Okay.
And then Sacred Heart only won by 1. I had them laying 1.5.
Okay.
Close.
Yeah.
I knew that fucking Sacred Heart one too. I was like, this one's gonna fuck me. I fucking know it. Because I'm like, I'm looking at it and it's like I usually don't like taking a favorite in that situation. And I'm like, fuck, it's gonna be them.
Yeah. Yeah. So, this computer really fucking sucks. It's on its last leg, and it's on my last nerve. I think this is 2 episodes in a row now where it just decides to tell me that I don't have an internet connection 20 minutes in. Um, so yeah, this isn't awesome. Not a great, not a great user experience on either end, I guess for me, right? In Zoom and internet, and then for anyone that's listening to the show, to have a random fucking jog 25 minutes into the episode. Um, yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have to figure this out. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know. Probably not gonna have time tonight because I need to get this uploaded. And that now takes forever. Now it takes me like an hour now because my computer is so slow to get it uploaded. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not particularly interested in spending $1,000 on a new computer. don't really have the $1,000 to spend on a computer. So I don't know. I don't know if there's a way I can just strip this down of everything other than Zoom and iMovie and GarageBand and then, an internet browser. Like if I can just literally take everything off of the computer other than that, I have no idea. I don't know what the solution is. Um, but this ain't working and I'm fucking pissed. So, I don't even know. Should we just wrap this up? Should we just get to final thoughts? Like
Yeah.
it's in real time. I know like that this time jump for everyone that's listening to the show has literally only been seconds. Um, but it's like it's been 45 minutes since we first hit record. So it's been a solid 15 minutes before I could get back into Zoom. So not thrilled. Um, yeah, do you have a final thought?
We do. So each year we usually talk shit about St. Patrick's Day and the boiled corned beef or the boiled dinner, whatever the fuck.
Yeah. Disgusting food. Yeah.
Well, again, the food's fine. It's just the method of preparation is very questionable.
Yeah.
So this year I chose to do something about it and skip the corned beef. And I went for lamb and potatoes. And that was my move. But now let's not forget that St. Patrick was a great Italian.
This is true.
So I think, especially now, like he would have wanted it to be like a pizza, like if it was like food in his honor.
True.
So I made a pizza with braised lamb and potato on it.
How did that come out?
It was good. I mean, it's pizza, it's lamb shank. I mean, like you really can't
Yeah.
stray too far from right on this one.
Was it like chopped chunk potato or was it like did you mash them and put mash on?
So
How did
didn't
you
mash
do
them,
with that?
sliced them. Um, so what I did
Oh, did you
was
thin slice them? They end up being like chips on the top. You know how like pepperonis
they
turn
did
into
not.
cups
They
and
did
get
not
crispy?
because my method of cooking was um just based on the time I had. I just threw everything in the crock pot and then we went out. So I threw the lamb shank with the potato, onion, and I dumped a beer in there.
Hmm.
Um, let it cook. Came home, had a change of plans, turned it into pizza. So yeah, I just kind of like cooked the potatoes just like in the crock pot with it. I was hoping that they would kind of like burn up a little bit more in the pizza oven. They just kind of didn't, which is fine. They were
Yeah.
still good.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it sounds like it would be pretty good.
Yep, and I think that's like, each year we go nuts on like, especially me, it's like, when what do you do when your dog is sick? You give him a boiled dinner. And people
Yeah.
tell me that that's good.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no. And if you actually pay attention, because then it turns into like, oh well, Irish food is potatoes and beer. It's like if you actually fucking use your brain, which is hard for most people,
True.
if you actually use your brain and pay attention, Irish food has potential. Irish American food has no potential.
Right. Right.
And I think that's the thing that kind of goes under the radar.
I mean,
And
traditional Irish food is a lot of lamb, right? It's a lot of beef,
yeah, it's like lamb. Yeah,
dairy.
it's like farm food.
Yeah.
But I think the thing that people also freak now, so Michaela and I are going to go to Ireland in September. At least that's the plan. I have to book it and all that crap. So, I've been like thinking about that because I think what did she say? How did she phrase it? I could be phrasing this wrong, but she was like, "Hey, just so you know, like the food's gonna suck over there." And I'm like, "Hold on, no." And I go, I actually think Irish food has potential if you go to Ireland and do it right because it's a fucking island.
Yeah.
Like you can do more than corned beef and cabbage.
Yeah. Oh, fish and chips.
It's an yeah, and like that's oh well, fish and chips. Like I guarantee whenever we go, and we're gonna go to Dublin, so full and then full disclosure with that too, it's a major city. They'll have whatever.
Exactly. They'll have fucking McDonald's if you want
Yeah,
it.
they'll have anything. Like there'll be pizza, like whatever.
Yeah.
But like yeah, if we want to find like real food, it's more than just like fish chips, uh, corned beef. Like it's not just that shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was actually talking to a guy at the gym, and he even said too, well, obviously because of like their climate, he's like, they don't get like vitamin C anything. So they eat a ton of tomatoes. He goes, for whatever reason, they can grow tomatoes, I guess.
Well,
And he
yeah, I
goes, so they
mean,
eat
you can grow tomatoes anywhere.
only if you're like,
You
only if
can
you got the right skill.
you
Like
can
you
grow them
can
in a Home Depot
a
bucket
Home
on a
Depot
third floor
bucket
balcony in downtown
in
Boston.
Boston. Um, so it's like I guess they eat tomatoes with like everything. So it's like it's really just again, big surprise. It's really just Americans that fuck it up.
Yeah, hey, surprise.
Yeah, go figure. Um, seems that way with everything. But I'm actually like semi interested in what they have to offer because I do like lamb. And I mean, like, I'm probably not even thinking of something like, I don't know. Do they have wild boar? I have no clue. But like, that was like a thing. Like, when you
Yeah,
went from Rome to Florence, it was like wild boar, this, that, the other thing. Like, there's shit that I'm not even thinking of that would be much more traditional.
yeah.
And that's what drives me crazy is when I go on my rants, and I know obviously like no one wants to fucking listen to me, but you go on these rants, and I'm like, it's just like you can do better. It's like, well, just you can't just eat it one day. No, I can't. You know why? Because I'm not eating boiled fucking carrots, potatoes, and fucking cabbage.
Yeah,
I'm not. So no, I can't eat it just once.
right.
And we can do fucking better.
Yeah, it's also not good.
So I did.
Yeah,
I did better. Yeah, boil. I mean, again, we've done that a million times. Like, fuck the boiled food.
yeah,
But that's my thing is like, you see these Guinness stews, these like braised lamb, like there's ways to do this,
yeah,
and people just like refuse to.
yeah.
So that was my take. Um, in honor of a great Italian, St. Patrick, I made a pizza in his honor. Did I send you that thing where the guy was like claiming everything that was
Yeah,
Italian?
yeah,
How did you tell him about Slash?
yeah.
Too
Yeah, then he
funny.
said water, right? Water is
Air.
Italian. Yeah.
Which yes, it drives me crazy when the Italians do that. But just to be a dick, I like to do it on St. Patrick's Day.
I mean, it is also true.
Okay, so it depends on again, which side you want to argue here. Because his parents were Roman, but they were like Roman leaders in Britain. So it's a little unclear as to where they actually came from.
Yeah, and that's fair. He's Italian, right? Because Italy, like actual Italy, didn't exist until like 1950. Right? Like they were still kingdoms through World War One, and or maybe it was right before World War
No, it was
Two.
18, it's
Maybe
like 1860 was 1860 was like the unification.
yeah,
But like something happened, like it was after World War II where I don't know if they became like a republic. I don't know. It's something like that. I forget what it exactly was. And I could be splitting my terms here, but I know like 1860, 1861, something like that, I think is when Italy actually came, but it was still a kingdom. Because the big monument in Rome is for Victor Emmanuel II. He was like the first king of Italy. Um, yeah, like circa like 1860 something.
okay. So I have it here from ChatGPT. Italy became a unified country in 1861 um, by Giuseppe Garibaldi, Count Cavour, and Victor Emmanuel II, who became the first king of unified Italy. However, full unification wasn't complete until 1870 when Rome was annexed and became the capital. Um, and then in 1946, Italy transitioned from a monarchy to a republic. So yeah, so to say someone was Roman, right? Like they're Italian, right? Because like
Well,
again, the country didn't even exist until
again, depending
1870.
on how you want to argue this, though, because the Roman Empire also at one point accompanied or contained like Egypt and Libya.
Yeah, but
Like we're gonna call Egypt.
I wouldn't count them as Roman. Like
Well, like I said, like so this is the one. This is where it depends on how you want to argue the St. Patrick's thing. He
when
was
I hear
born in
someone say Roman, I that's they're born in Rome.
Yeah, but he was born in Roman Britain or what or Britannia or something. So
Yeah,
theoretically, he was born like in England or ish.
right. But his
And then I think
parents
he
were
was sold it.
Italian.
But his parent, but so that's the thing though. It's not clear where his parents actually came from.
Okay.
Because they were leaders, you would think that they came from the capital
Yeah.
and like made their way or station, whatever, however that works. But it's not exactly clear where his parents came from.
Okay.
And like, because that's the other thing is like the Roman Empire was so big that they kind of owned like a little bit of everything. So it's like you would never call Libyan like Italian, but
Right.
it's like they were Roman because Rome owned it at
Yeah.
the time or controlled it. And same with like um Greeks, the Turks, like all those people.
Yeah.
So cheers to a great Italian, I guess.
Yeah. Shout out to St. Patrick. All right. So my final thought is I think it's hilarious that politicians, a lot of like regular normies, right? But a lot of politicians have been posting on social media that they got rid of their Teslas and have bought new cars. And a lot of them have been like Chevy Suburbans or Chevy Tahoes or whatever. Like, they've been trucks, right? Like a Ford Explorer or something like this. And I saw someone post on Twitter and go, the irony here is absolutely unbelievable. So obviously the reason why they're getting rid of their Teslas is because Elon Musk equals bad, right? Um, so and they're all Democrats, right? So obviously because Elon Musk equal bad, Democrats have to get rid of their Teslas because they can't support Elon Musk, right? So um, they're and the way this guy laid it out is the Democratic politicians who have been fighting for climate change purchased electric vehicles, and then he puts in parentheses, in the name of supporting climate change. And now, because Elon Musk has been involved in the other side of the aisle in politics, these same Democratic politicians are now foregoing their electric vehicles that are, in quotes, good for the environment and purchasing large SUVs instead that run on gas. So it's like, well, which one is it? Right? Do you really believe that EVs make a difference? Because if they do, why wouldn't you just buy another EV? Right? Like if you just spent the last decade as a Democratic politician preaching to people how you're driving a gas-powered car is destroying the environment, right? The whole Greta Thunberg, how dare you, right? The pointing the finger, all this, you're ruining the environment. You should purchase an electric car. Okay. Well, yeah, well, the guy that makes the most electric cars is bad, so we need to not buy his car. Okay. Are you going to buy a different electric car? Are you going to buy a Rivian now? Are you going to buy like a Prius or something or a Honda Leaf or whatever? No, I'm going to buy a Chevy Suburban. Oh, wait a second. Hold on. That doesn't compute here. Because for the last 10 years, you told me we all needed to buy EVs for the environment. Now you got rid of your EV and bought a fucking Suburban.
Do they make hybrids? I got an agenda here. Do they make hybrids in those cars? I think they do.
I
Like, I don't
truthfully,
think
I don't know the answer to that.
I don't think they make like an electric Suburban, but I think they make hybrids in those cars. So that right there should probably tell you,
According to ChatGPT, no, Chevy does not currently make a hybrid Suburban or Tahoe.
mm, never mind then.
Yeah.
I was gonna say because what the angle I was gonna take was that should tell you where the right answer is, where you don't really need to go full electric. Yeah, there might be some benefits to not going full gas. I mean, again, I'm keeping my car, but hybrid. It's a nice, both by definition and in function, it is a nice middle ground.
Truthfully, hybrid is the way to go. By like if you wanna like actually solve problems, the problem to solve is to make every car a hybrid.
I think so.
Like that's how you do that.
I mean, that would be my take, but
Yeah.
I also do like because Republicans did the same thing. Or yeah, Republicans, because a lot of like rich guys and girls maybe, but I don't think women think politicians think like this because they're stupid. But I think regular women don't necessarily think like guys like think like this. But it's like, ooh, Tesla, like that's like the cool new thing. I've got money, I'm gonna get a Tesla. And then all the Democrats were like, electric this, electric that, and it goes, fuck that, selling my Tesla, getting rid of it. It's like I don't want to be associated with them. So Republicans did the same thing, which my big takeaway from all of this is if you feel strongly about the electric car thing based on a political opinion or what like our lawmakers are saying and whatnot, you're being fooled.
Yeah.
That's my take. Because if it was that important, why wouldn't they just get a Chevy fucking whatever?
Yeah.
Like all of these American companies make an all electric vehicle.
Yes.
So you can get rid of Tesla and you can stay electric very simply.
Right.
And they're not doing that.
Right. So that's what I
So
mean. They both things cannot be true. You cannot, on one hand, believe that electric vehicles are the only way to save the environment or a major way. Now, I mean, I don't want to put words in the mouth, say the only way, but you can't, on one hand, believe that driving an electric vehicle is one of a major way to save the environment, and also on the other hand, get rid of your electric vehicle for a fucking Chevy Tahoe. Which again, like the the most hilarious part of this is just the complete opposite end of the spectrum. You have like a massive V8 engine in a Chevy Tahoe, right?
yeah.
Like if they got rid of their Tesla and bought a fucking Mazda Miata, right? Like, all right, whatever, dude. Or like a Volkswagen Jetta, right? Like, okay, who cares, right? It's a small car. No one really gives a shit, right? They bought a
Like the biggest car
massive,
you can get.
a massive SUV that is quite literally why they're called a gas guzzler, right? I know it's way different now than it was 15, 20 years ago. Like you may be able to get, you know, somewhere between 17 and 20 miles to the gallon in one of those cars versus like when we were growing up, I think the Ford Excursion got 12, right? Like some of those big trucks got like 12 miles to the gallon. So it is a bit better now, but like 18 to 20 miles to the gallon. Dude, my fucking Subaru Legacy that I used to have got like 35 miles to the gallon. My truck now, I think, gets like 19. I think, depending. I do mostly highway, so I probably get closer to like 20, 21 to a gallon. Um, but still, like, again, the Subaru had 35, right? Like there's cars out there that can get you 30 to 40 miles per gallon, and you bought a fucking Chevy Tahoe that gets 17 miles to the gallon.
Yep.
Like that's what's like strikingly a middle finger to the face of Americans, right?
Yeah, 'cause they're telling you, and like some of these states, or maybe it's just California, but they're like, oh, we're going to be all electric by 2030 or whatever.
Yeah, they already bailed on that.
No shit.
Yeah, they kicked it to like 2055 or whatever.
Yeah, I was also making shit up, but
Yeah,
like, fucking wake the fuck up, people.
yeah, yeah. It's all about money. They don't give a shit about anything that they say is quite literally a lie. It's for them to get more money, right? Get your money. So, um, fuck them. We should get rid of him. Reduce everything. Cut all the budget. My mom made a comment to me about that this morning because we had a package come in from Chewy and it was all smashed up. Like it was literally looked like an accordion. Although it was just Pickett's vitamins, right? So it's nothing insane. And my mother goes, "Oh, it's just gonna get worse now that they're cutting all these people." And I go, "Can you stop listening to the news?" I go, "This Chewy box has nothing to do with
This
government
does not.
cuts.
This
This
is not
is some
afflicted by the
asshole.
political temper
Yeah,
of the United
this
States.
is some asshole that worked for the post office that didn't give a shit what was in the box, so he just threw it underneath something heavy." Like that this has nothing to do with the amount of money that the federal government receives and collects or steals, right? Depending on how you want to look at it. The federal government steals money. One of my favorite things actually that Dan Holloway has been saying now for a while is the federal government does not generate money. Like the federal government doesn't make money, right? It's not a business. They don't generate revenue. They take your money. Like the first time I heard that, I was like, holy shit. Like that's kind of wild. That's crazy and it's accurate. Like the federal government doesn't generate revenue. They just take people's money. And they're like, "Oh, look at all this money that we have." It's like, "No, no, no, you took all that money from your citizens." It's like, "Oh, wow, that's kind of fucking nuts." Like when you frame it like that, like, "Oh, okay. They need to take less money." Well, what are we gonna do? How are we gonna pay for all this? We don't need to pay for all of it, right? Get rid of it. Clearly don't need it. But I mean, that's one of those things. I always use my mother as an example because she's, a in the baby boomer generation, right? A boomer, if you will. Um, but she's also the type of person that watches the news every day, right? So she's a good example of, the masses, if you will, um, that just watches, legacy media and consumes that instead of, Twitter or podcasts or Substacks or, you know, books or whatever else is available, right? So yeah, it's just funny. I know you like you were talking about with your mom earlier.
She was gonna save me. She was gonna save a newspaper article for me
Yeah, yeah,
because she was reading the Globe and they were talking Ireland, like
yeah. Yep.
Dublin and Ireland. It's 2025. I said, what did I say to her? I go, yep. She said, if anyone sees the Sunday Globe, there's an article on Ireland and Dublin in the travel section. I will save it for you. I go, it's 2025. You don't have to save me a newspaper article. And I did say, I think I'm going to reach out to the travel agent tomorrow. I'm like, There's nothing in that article that can't be found elsewhere.
Right.
It's not like the Globe has breaking news about
Yeah.
some fucking historical site that no one's ever seen before. And I don't really have plans to like see her anytime soon. So when is she gonna when does she plan to give me this article?
Yeah.
Just absurd.
Yeah. So there you have it. Politicians are liars and they don't give a shit, and we should give them less money. So that's going to do it for us. So thanks for watching. If you're on YouTube, if you're still with us after that debacle in the beginning of the show, you can hit the thumbs up down below. You can hit the subscribe button up top. You can subscribe also if you're an audio only guy. You can get us on Instagram at Sarcasm Speaks Pod. Twitter is sarcasm_speaks. Facebook is Sarcasm Speaks. You can check out the show notes below. You should try that out. Support the sponsors of the show, support us. And until next time, good night, everybody.